Shutterstock Music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas, here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And we have the founder of Black College Experience, Keisha Kelly, in Atlanta. Kels, what's going on up there in Atlanta?
It's another great weekend. It rained all day today, or it rained earlier today. But needless to say, got a chance to see some great baseball yesterday with Morehouse and Albany State. Got a chance to actually meet Xavier Floyd, one of our past guests. I got a chance to meet him.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did he do yesterday?
Yeah, the HBCU forum. We did it was a lot of great things yesterday. A lot of great things going on. But we'll go ahead and hop into this actual show because I guess we got a lot going on. We actually do have more I don't know what to call him, Morehouse running backs coach that's going to be coming on in the second half of the show, Coach Davis. So I guess we'll just go ahead and hop right into it. So where do you want to start here?
Let's talk about Coachella.
Okay. So you want to go first or I go first? It doesn't matter. You can go first. It doesn't matter.
I read about it because I didn't watch it. I didn't see it. I saw it being talked about on, of course, social media. I saw you post about it. You're probably more qualified to comment on it because I didn't see it. I just read about it. So talk about what you think about Beyonce's performance.
Okay. So, here's my whole perspective. We're in a business of positivity when it comes to HBCUs. Anytime I get a chance to share the message, share the story, tell somebody about an HBCU, to inform somebody that does not know, that's not connected, I'm always inclined, to tell the story because people can't talk about what they don't know. We can't trend if we don't talk about us in a positive way. So after seeing people talk about it, and I watched it first thing this morning, it blew my mind. Everything that you want to think of in Black college life was represented. Everything from our bands, our dance lines, Greeks, everything is represented. And I did. I tweeted. I Instagrammed so many things. I posted so many pictures, and it's just to bring the positive light. Now, for people asking the question, what has she done for HBCUs and why now? And it's just a ploy. Well, for people that don't know, let me drop this bit of knowledge in your ear. Her husband, Jay-Z, has the Sean Carter Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
They are now doing HBCU college tours. They also have a HBCU scholarship. So when people start asking questions, it's either one, they just don't take the time to do the research to understand it, or two, I'm just going to say whatever I want to because I don't like this person, or I'm going to just say I'm not a fan. And I think to just have that kind of exposure is very, very positive. And like somebody said, we couldn't even pay for that exposure. From beginning to end, a 2-hour show where you got everything. You got the Black National Anthem. You got swag surfing. You got alums from North Carolina A&T, FAMU, Norfolk, Tennessee State. You got people from all across the map. Then you got, just basically they're showing homage to, you got Southern, you got Jackson State, you got Grambling, you got so much wrapped into this, and it's like, you watch the performance, even if you're not a fan of Beyonce, the show paid homage to not only HBCUs, but also to Greek. So to me, it was a positive, but you know how it is. People will always find the negative to it because people don't want to dig and they don't want to find out. I'm not Greek, you're Greek, so you would have a better knowledge. I tend not to comment on things that I don't have, knowledge of. I just give props to all Greeks. I give props to all D9. Here's the picture. I make it known, hey, this is for y'all. I'm not Greek, but I give props to all of y'all for all the hard work, for the commitment, all the stuff that D9 does that they do in the community, that they do for other people. So you have to give props to that. People forget it's not just the letters that these people are wearing, but it's also their commitment to either sisterhood, brotherhood, and their service to the community.
In regards to the Greek letter organizations, the Divine Nine are not the only organization that utilize Greek letters for their organizations. You have honor societies, historic societies, business fraternities, business societies who also utilize Greek letters. And this was part of her performance to highlight HBCU, basically the black college experience is what she did. You know, like you said, she had I'm going to watch it after we get done tonight. She had the band, she had the dancers, she highlighted the Greek life. According to HBCU Game Day, she had her own probate show on stage. You know, if she wants to found her own sorority, I'm pretty sure she's going to get plenty of people to want to sign up for it if she were to found her own sorority for college students on the campus of HBCUs. It's been done before by members and non-Greek members of organizations starting their own organizations. So if you look at it from that point of view, hey, if she starts her own, she'll have more members probably than some of us after all because of who she is. But I'm glad that, you know, this power couple, even though no, they don't have a tremendous history of doing something in the HBCU community. But what's the old saying? What have you done for me lately? This is what they're doing now. Forget what they didn't do in the past. If they're going to continue giving limelight to HBCUs, Beyonce and Jay-Z are doing it, well, who's to say some other big stars don't follow suit? And this drums up interest in HBCUs from not only African-American students, but from students of all races to show that, hey, yes, it's an historically black college university, but you can go here too, even if you're not black. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad that this happened. One thing that bothers me is I do, kind of dislike that people want to try to always put a negative spin on something that was intended to be positive. You know, we know Beyonce has the show coming up. People buying tickets, complaining about the prices, and they're probably trying to say, oh, she's just trying to garner HBCU interest. This woman doesn't have to garner HBCU interest to be famous. This is helping HBCUs. She's going to sell out shows regardless. She could have came out there wearing LSU gear or something, but she chose to represent HBCU. So what if she didn't represent, a specific HBCU? She's representing HBCUs, and that's the bottom line. And I almost want to say Stone Cold said so, but
I totally agree with what you're saying. People always find a way to put a negative spin on things. And one of the things that I find myself saying all the time, it's always people that A, don't do anything for their university, or B, you're not financial or active. You don't lift a finger, you don't pay a due, you don't go to a meeting, but you have the most to say. So people asking like, oh, has she cut a check? What is she doing? Okay, do you even pay your local alumni dues? Do you even go to your meetings? But you love your school so much at the wrong times. You love your schools at Classic and Homecomings, but I'm going to leave that alone.
Give me just
that's
a second,
that's
Kayla.
The kind of people that we have that are always criticizing someone else.
Yeah, Kayla, let's take a quick commercial break right quick, and we'll be right back with more Black College Experience, okay? All right.
Okay.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend. I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more Black College Experience, and we were talking about Beyonce inspired, HBCU inspired Coachella performance. Before this, I didn't even know what Coachella was, Kels, but I do know now. So, Kels?
I'm here.
Okay. So we're gonna hopefully be having Enrique calling in soon. He called my cell phone, and there he is there.
All right.
We have on with us for the first time ever on Black College Experience, former 5-star running back recruit out of the state of Florida, former Ole Miss Rebel. I want to ring a cowbell in your ear. Currently the running backs coach for Morehouse College, Coach Enrique Davis. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, doing all right. How about yourself? Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you for agreeing to come on, man. Like I said, I've known who you were for years. I remember when you committed to the Rebels. I said, "Oh Lord, this man gonna run all over my poor Bulldogs." Ole Miss got a 5-star running back. No, but
Good deal.
yeah, and how I got back in touch with you. I saw you on Twitter recruiting a very big fish, and you got that very big fish to visit Morehouse. But we're gonna talk about that a little later. We want to talk about you and your journey. I gave you a little brief introduction, but talk about, who you are and what are you doing with your coaching and outside of your football coaching.
Okay. First off, I'm a father, of 5 kids. I have a wonderful wife, Kia Davis, the love of my life, and she has my back with every single thing that I do.
All right, Coach.
I know that's right. I wouldn't be the man I am today if it was not for her. So
I hope y'all guys are listening to this coach right now, okay? I need y'all to be listening to this.
Yeah, if you want to be successful in life, you definitely have to make sure that you have that helpmate, because you can't do it alone. Most importantly, I'm a Christian, and that means that accepted the Lord and Savior into my life, and I allow Him to direct my steps and everything I do.
That's right. That's right.
I love my family that He's blessed me with. I love the career that He's blessed me with. I love being able to mentor and develop the young youth, especially the young man, who will go on and be the future leaders. And they're doing that especially out there at Morehouse College. That's a little bit in a nutshell about who I am and what I do.
All right. So, of course, I said you went to Ole Miss, but you were recruited very heavily in high school. 83 offers? That's amazing.
Right.
So,
right. Well,
did you get any? Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did you get any? Did any HBCUs attempt to recruit you?
I didn't really get many HBCUs, that really came after me. That's the thing that I'm trying to change up right now. I was blessed to come out. When I came out of high school, I was the number 2 running back in the country, and then I ended up going to Hargrave Military Academy. And after I left Mosley High School in Lynn Haven, Florida, I went to Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia, which was the IMG basically before IMG. We were the prep school. I played against a lot of the they called it junior varsity teams of college. So you play against the Virginia Tech, the University of Tennessee, Marshalls. You play against those collegiate teams that are freshmen and sophomores. Those guys, you play against those guys before you even go to college.
Wait a minute.
Which helped us
You're
out.
educating me. You're telling me as a prep school player, you play against a red-shirted freshman?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that helped develop our game and took it to a whole nother level. So we visited those schools like the Tennessees and places like that, Marshall and other schools. We actually visited those West Virginia, and such, as well as other prep schools, but So we went out there. I was blessed to be the number one player in the country coming out of there before I went to college. And originally I was going to Auburn University.
Right.
Is where I was going to originally, and then I ended up going to the University of Mississippi along with 6 of my teammates from my school. So we all ended up going out there. So we called each other the Super Seven. So 7 of us went out there to Ole Miss together. So that's how that came about.
Yes, indeed. Now, talk to us about your career at Ole Miss. I know a little bit about your career because those 4 years, I don't remember how many Egg Bowls each school won. But talk to us about, your career at Ole Miss and who was your coach there.
I was under Coach Houston Nutt, the Nutt era, which lasted 4 years at Ole Miss. I was able to be on 2 really good teams, back-to-back Cotton Bowl champs, and then 2 not so really hot teams, which ended, with that staff leaving.
Yeah.
But I did learn a lot of good things from there. A lot of connections that I made as far as just, the family, outside of football, and it was blessed to be there. I was blessed to be there, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to go to that school.
Right. Yeah, Ole Miss is an awesome school. I mean, I have no argument with you there. I just gonna root against them in the Egg Bowl, but Ole Miss is a tremendous institution of higher learning in my home state of Mississippi, and I know you got a quality education graduating from Ole Miss. So,
right.
Kels, I don't want to dominate. So, you have anything you want to ask, Enrique? I have some. Go ahead.
So, my question is always, because your path was not HBCU. Your path was PWI. And, it's a totally different. We know it's when it comes to what you're used to and what you get into, it's a totally different thing. So, of course, I'm SWAC bred. Derek is SWAC bred. I'm Southern University.
All right.
Excuse me, the Southern University. And then Derek is Mississippi Valley. So, it's a totally different breed when you're coming from an Ole Miss, a Alabama, a LSU, coming over to a Morehouse, a Southern, a Mississippi Valley. Talk about that transition when you get into coaching, what that was like.
What I'll say is it's definitely different, in a lot of different ways. And nothing against, the Power 5 schools, because, I'm a product of them, and I love what they have going on, but one thing that I do see, as I get older, and I start seeing the way that it seems like more kids from those HBCU schools, are a little more mature, when they, as far as the student athletes, when you all of a sudden are out there in the real world, and what I can say is, it may be a hindrance in some ways, for some of those bigger schools to help the kids and with so many different capacities like they do, whether it be, the which are great things they have in place now, whether it be the tutors that you're mandatory that you have to go to, that are already paid for, whether it be the caterers for the food that are always, there for you, whether it be, and it's a lot of different things, that are perks of being at some of those schools. But, when I see the guys who go to, and I can't speak about every HBCU, but a school like a Morehouse, they have to kind of grow up a little quicker.
Right.
And I see that helping them, they may complain about it while they're in school at the time, but once they get out into the real world, they adjusted a little quicker than most, because, they've already seen the real world and it's not sugar-coated, for them, and I definitely know that's a big difference when you talk about some of the changes and differences within the Power 5 schools and the HBCUs.
Well, Kels, he sounds like he's stating something that I've said, that the HBCU student athlete.
The first thing I heard. That was the first thing I heard, Derek. The very first thing I heard.
They have that humbleness about themselves. They're hungry. They're not. You're gonna have some issues, but like he said, they're being prepared for the real world. They're not going to have all those perks. And one of our former guests, another former Ole Miss Rebel, Devontae Kincaid, transferred to Grambling, and he talked the same thing. He said those perks kind of spoil you a little bit, but when he got to Grambling, he realized he had to really, really work hard at his craft. I think Devontae would have been a good quarterback had he stayed at Ole Miss, but I think it turned him into a more mature football player and student athlete, not having, I guess you could say, the spoilage that you get at the SEC level. So that's kind of my mantra. The HBCU, you don't have as many troubled issues, or I guess you could say arrests or issues with HBCU athletes as you have at a Power 5. You can do the math. You can look on the news and see. The HBCU athlete is more about handling his business, than some Power 5 athletes, because just look at the difference in the arrests and things of that nature. I mean, the transfer rate is, there are many reasons why a Power 5 guy may transfer. But most HBCU athletes, when they get to the HBCU at school, they're staying there for 4 years. They're not transferring out. And they're graduating. So they have that degree in hand. So, and like you said, Morehouse being the school that it is, an academic institution on top of the football program, because a Morehouse, man, that's a prestige thing. That's when you hear Morehouse, man, and you play football, that should give you a leg up in some instances, in my opinion.
Which brings me to my next question. We had this conversation yesterday, and I was out again. I was watching Morehouse and Albany yesterday play baseball out in Ferguson Park, and just sitting here talking to a couple of people, and out with Coach Brewer and some of the basketball team. We're all sitting around and just having this conversation. You said it yourself. When you think of Morehouse, you think of academics, you think of academia, but how do you connect that? Because we saw what the basketball team done this year. We saw them being nationally ranked the whole year. The baseball team still has the chance to go into playoffs if they beat Clark next week. So in this football season coming up, how do you highlight, okay, you put on per se, say, okay, we're going to really shine in football. What do you do to separate it just from being all academics, and you actually emphasize athletics as well as the academics?
Now, are you asking about it as far as from the standpoint of
football,
the recruits, or the guys who are already on campus?
The guys that are already on campus. Like, what are you looking for in the upcoming season, I guess I'd say?
But with us, it's all about balance, and it's all about, striving to be the best that you can possibly be on and off the field. So obviously academics is first and foremost, especially here at a Morehouse College, a prestigious university like it is. But on top of that, just making sure that, the same way like you're studying, each and every day when it comes to the classwork, that you're doing the same thing in the film room, like you're doing the same thing in your playbook, and like you're paying attention to the details when you're out here on the football field. I think right here we have something special going on at Morehouse, with us having one of the top recruiting classes in Morehouse history that we just had, with some guys that people thought that we probably wouldn't have had or shouldn't have had, who are now out here, and then on top of that, we have a lot of guys who played this last season who were true freshmen, and some of those guys who are true freshmen have a lot of honors, when it comes to HBCU ball, so we're expecting to come out here and turn things around, and we're expecting to have a really good season, and I think the best is yet to come for all of us.
Right. Now, since we are talking, go ahead, Kels.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Since we are talking about the athletes, I want to talk about the young man that you got a chance to get on campus, which most HBCU prospects or HBCU schools won't even go after a recruit of this magnitude. I call him Bulldozer. If you've seen his videos, you see why I call him that, and that's probably why you recruited him or wanted him to come to Morehouse to at least get a look at the program. Cardell Thomas out of Southern Lab in Baton Rouge. How did you get him to take a visit to Morehouse? Because he's a five-star recruit committed to LSU.
All right. Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to look at the big picture. And I believe that him and his parents, they do a great job of looking at the big picture. Mm-hmm. The air goes out of the ball for everybody one day, and that's what everyone has to realize. The air will go out of the ball for you one day. So when the air goes out of the ball, what will you do next?
Right.
One thing I can tell you about a Morehouse College is, it's not like some other schools where they look out for the next 4 years of your life, but they're going to look out for the next 40 years of your life.
Yeah.
And that's just not something I'm just saying to just be a slogan or just trying to be a recruiting tool, but that's the truth. They're going to make sure that you're set up, for success. And it's the same way, we had, like you said, we had Cardell from Baton Rouge come out here. We just had Keandre Jones from Hogansville, Georgia, who's I think he's the number 10. I know Cardell's the number 1 lineman in the nation. Keandre Jones is the number 10 lineman in the nation.
Yes,
we just had Justin Rogers from Chicago, a 4-star. We just had Marvin Grant, another 4-star, come out here. DeJuan Mathis, another 4-star, and to be honest with you, the list goes on and on. With some of the top prospects across the country. We had who've been on campus or plan on visiting. And the thing is, they have to realize, like you said earlier in the show, you said the HBCU didn't come after me because of the 5 stars and the accolades behind me possibly, but the thing is, what you have to realize is, you have to go somewhere that is the best fit for you as a person. What's going to set you up? When you go back to that university or back to that school, wherever you're at college, when you go back, are you just going to be another guy who came out there who now no one knows your name because the coaching staff has changed? Or are you going to be able to build something? Are you going to be able to build relationships that can really set you up for success for life after football? And the thing is, like at a Morehouse College, we're in the metro Atlanta area, a lot of HBCUs as well, the same thing. If you got good talent, they're going to come find you, and all you have to do is go out there and handle your business on and off the field. And one thing about this Morehouse, if you look and see, the type of people who came through here, you start talking about, obviously, the great Martin Luther King. You start talking about people like who get honorary degrees from here, like President Barack Obama. You start mentioning the Spike Lees. You start mentioning the Samuel L. Jackson. You start mentioning all the greats who came through here who are icons. You start mentioning people who send their kids here, Denzel Washington, Steve Harvey. You start mentioning those are just a few names. I could really go on and on and on. I could talk about Bill Cosby sending his kid. I could go on, right? But there's a reason these guys are sending their children here when they have the opportunity to send them anywhere across the country.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what these guys have to realize, and you have to figure out what that is. What is that reason? And I believe it's because they want to be connected to a brotherhood. They want to be connected to something that can make sure they're set up for success. And that's what we're doing out here at Morehouse College. We're building the next generation of the black man, who are going to go out there and exceed and go out there and be the next icon, like some of those names I've already named. Right. We got a guy, Julian Turner, right now, who plays linebacker. I don't know if you kind of picked up on the video he made. He had made a video that went viral. An extra credit video. It went viral, and he was on TRL and Good Morning America, and that's one of our linebackers. And he's already went and spent time with Spike Lee. He went to Tyler Perry's house. He's hung out now. Working on some things with Common. Those are things that don't happen everywhere, but they do happen here at Morehouse College. So if you're really looking, for these guys, and a lot of these guys aren't. They're not aware of what's going on because no one's telling them this.
Exactly.
Right? And then at the same time, they get caught in the glitz and the glamour of the buildings, right? You get caught in the glitz and the glamour of these buildings. But what happens in those next 4 years? Now, guess what? Someone else is in that place, and those buildings that you were caught up in are gone, and you're no longer a part of that. So do you want to be a part of something real, or do you want to be a part of something that's just temporary? And that's the thing that I'm trying to get these guys to see. And I believe that's a big reason why a lot of these top athletes across the country are now really considering Morehouse, which is, we just had some of the top recruits, that Morehouse has ever had sign here. We had Trent Lavelle, who was going to Auburn University originally. You know, he just came and signed here over a few Division I and top-notch Division II programs. You know, we just had KJ Phillips, you know, the big-time linebacker out of Woodward Academy, decommit from the University of Tulane. Shocked the country because they thought he was decommitted from Tulane because he had picked up a Colorado State, Colorado, and a Georgia Tech offer. But he chose Morehouse College. You're talking about a guy named Casey Faye, who had Division I offers as well, who ended up picking up Morehouse College. And we just had the NAIA Player of the Year and the quarterback from California named Cedric Phillips just signed here. That all just went on this signing period. You know, so what's going on out here, man? We're trying to take it back to how it used to be. You know, back whenever you had, you know, the I could get into that all day. When you had the Jerry Rices, when you had the Walter Payton, when you had the Aeneas Williams, and, you know, guys like that. Before things started changing, and once these guys open their eyes and see what's really going on out here, you know, I think that can really help a lot of these guys out, and make sure they go ahead and start attending, or at least considering, a lot more of our HBCUs across the country.
Here is something else that you can.
We appreciate you plugging that Jerry Rice and Aeneas Williams into that quick. We appreciate that real quick.
Right.
We appreciate that.
We know these athletes here, these highly rated athletes. You know, some of them they have dreams of earning a college degree, but they also have NFL or professional football dreams, which the option for them playing professional football will grow from 1 to 3 as far as 11-man football. And then, of course, you know, you have the Arena League and other leagues, and, of course, leagues overseas, and the Canadian Football League, of course. But, of course, we all know the major league is, of course, the NFL. And, you know, the NFL scouts, you know, they come through and visit some HBCUs and different Division II schools. So look, Grady out of Albany State was like a 4th-round draft pick for the Colts last year. So you can say, hey, if you perform, you can get to the NFL. So you can get to the NFL, have the prestige and fraternal brotherhood, lifelong connection to the Morehouse family, and still make it to the NFL. And you can sell that. I mean, you know,
right.
You can sell that. And when I saw Cardell was happy, he was ecstatic to visit Morehouse. It meant a lot to him. He just didn't come up there just to say, I'm just coming. He enjoyed, and I'm hoping to talk to him about his visit. You know, the talk to see what it meant to him to get a chance to experience Morehouse, because he goes to Southern Lab, which is next door to Southern University. So he probably, you know, has been on an HBCU campus before, but, you know, I don't know if Southern's recruiting him, but, you know, for you to be recruiting him in Georgia, I mean, that says a lot, that he was taken aback by the offer. He felt honored and privileged. I read his response. He was honored and privileged. Even though he's committed to LSU, he honored and privileged to take that visit and indulge himself into the HBCU lifestyle and the prestige that is Morehouse. So we're going to have to keep in touch, man, on these recruits that you got coming in, because, you know, if Morehouse is able to get a couple of these guys, you guys are going to be making some noise in the SEAC, man. I mean, just the fact that you have the buzz of these young men even considering your school being, you know, it's Division II HBCU, not Division II PWI, but Division II HBCU, you know, it's going to bring the respectability up of the conference. And that's what we want. We need to be respected as not just academic institutions, but athletic institutions as well, because our athletes are hungry. They have the ability. They deserve opportunities as well.
Yeah, and I believe that, you know, Coach Freeman and the staff, you know, they do a great job with getting that word out there to those recruits, you know, and I believe that's a big reason why Cardell came, you know, just having an opportunity to speak with him, you know, and talk to a lot of those guys, you know, because, you know, that's right there is what we're trying to show these guys, you know, the life after football. And like I said, we hope that this is going to be a new wave that catches fire, you know, through all HBCUs across the country, and that everybody will start doing the same thing that's going on out here at Morehouse College.
Well, and that's the thing. Morehouse is already a trailblazer in academia. If y'all become a trailblazer in athletics, as far as showing other HBCUs that you shouldn't be afraid to recruit these 5-star or 4-star athletes. Recruit them. Show them what you have to offer. Give them that option. It may hit home. The young man from Alabama last year had a standing offer. I can't remember his name, and they had a defensive back from Alabama. Had a committable offer to Alabama. He signed with an HBCU. He signed with Grambling. So the dominoes are starting to fall. Like you said, like in the old days, you had the elite athletes coming to HBCUs, and I think you yourself and Grambling, Morehouse, and other HBCUs need to jump in the boat and start recruiting these young men and show them, that, hey, you can get to the NFL playing football here, and then you can also get a quality education and a lifelong brotherhood from a prestigious institution like Morehouse and other HBCUs across the country.
Right.
Okay,
all right. True right there, brother.
So, now outside of Morehouse, you also do a little training. You have a priority training. You still doing that?
Oh no, I cut that out. I'm no longer a part of priority training.
Okay.
I stopped that right before I started collegiate coaching.
Okay, so you stopped that. Okay, but I mean, you did do that. So did you were helping young men develop athletically and academically doing that as well?
I did. I was helping the guys, to become better young men on and off the field, and also working with the ACT and SAT prep and things of that nature. Just being very heavily involved in the community across the Atlanta, Georgia area, Metro Atlanta area. Just doing things that I wish somebody would have had an opportunity to really do for me. And just seeing things from a different eye, and just trying to help these guys, be the best young man that they can possibly be, not just the best football player.
And that's awesome to have someone like you who was at the highest peak of high school football, played at the highest level of college football, and now you're trying to bring those athletes to a level of football where people don't pay attention to show you that you can perform here. And, if we were to get if Morehouse were to get a few of those guys, like I said earlier, I just think that would be so awesome. I mean, and if y'all started winning and more guys came, it would be like a little coup to top in so means, because you're in Atlanta. You just had a team in Georgia play for the national championship. And let's say if some of these guys choose Morehouse over Georgia, do you know what kind of firestorm that would create on social media? If you have Morehouse stealing recruits from the SEC participant in the national championship game, that would be tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
It would be tremendous. Okay. Kels, you have anything else for Enrique?
Let's go to a commercial break. I do want to ask him one final question.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. We will be right back in 25 seconds.
Are you interested in attending an historically black college or university? Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm president and founder of the Common Black College application. Our application allows you to apply to any number of 44 historically black colleges and universities at the same time for only $35. So visit our website at www.commonblackcollegeapp.com to apply now. Thank you, and get educated.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more Black College Experience with Morehouse running backs coach Enrique Davis. Kels?
Okay, so Coach, the final thing I want to ask is, we talk all the time about the exposure, and Derek talks about what you can create and what will happen if you get, because it's slowly happening when we have our guys coming back to our schools, that's just a thing. And I live by one of the things that you said. If they want you, they'll find you. I live by that motto. I really do. I really believe that if they're looking for you and you're talented and you have the skill, that they will find you and you can go pro. Well, the thing is, it's been something that we talk about all the time as far as like a TV time. And we can flip on the TV and we can see SEC Network but we don't see a HBCU network. We don't see anything for our guys. We can see, stream it online, and we see ESPNU, and sometimes we're on and sometimes we're not. When we know back in the day, and I don't really know how old you are, Coach, but I know back in the day, I could watch BT all day long, and I could have an HBCU game all day long. We would get a full halftime show. So the question there lies in, do you think that as a coach, on this side, that we would get to that point where we could get the exposure, where we could actually get the mainstream TV, where we could actually get the network, where we could be exposed on TV so other people could see it, as well as, as we know social media and all this is fine. But do you think we would ever get to that point where we could actually get our own network?
I believe we should be able to, just depending on, it just depends on, who's backing it, and if the things start happening like we're talking about, as far as some of those athletes that are those top tier guys start going to, those universities, then, the media is going to follow. They're going to follow. They're going to want to find out if the number one and number two, number three player in position or possibly in the country goes to some of those schools consistently. They're going to have to go and start streaming those games, because at the end of the day, that's what they're following. They're following the players, the players who attend those major universities. So, yes, I do believe it can happen.
Okay. Derek, that's it. That's all I have.
Well, that's all I have. Also, Enrique, we want to thank you for being a guest on Black College Experience. And now, since you've been on Black College Experience, you're no longer a guest. You're family. So, whenever you want to come on and talk about what's going on with Morehouse football or Morehouse athletics, or just you want to speak your mind about HBCU sports, man, feel free. Definitely, we need to pick your ear about the recruiting that Morehouse is doing, because you named some big fish, and we definitely need to have that news, if your coaches are okay with it, talked about, to have a buzz, because to do what you guys are doing is unprecedented. So, feel free to call anytime anytime during the show, or let us know that you want to call in and just, talk sports with us. You don't have to be asked now. You can just call in. You're a guest. And you already know, come Thanksgiving, you're going to get a text message from me. If the Egg Bowl comes back to Starkville, if it doesn't, I'm not going to talk to you at all. I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to leave you alone.
I'm tired.
So, but we want to thank you for coming on Black College Experience, and welcome to our family. And we're looking to keep in touch with you. With Kels being right there in Atlanta, you'll probably see her, with her being around, because she is an HBCU magnet. I mean, so maybe y'all can.
And I spent a lot of time in the AUC. I spent a lot of time in the AUC. Okay. I spent a lot of time that way.
So y'all probably get a chance to have a face-to-face meeting, and and me and you I'll definitely keep in touch with you on social media, and we'll talk football. And like I said, you can call in anytime we have the show. You are welcome.
Thank you. I enjoyed my time here speaking with you guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
We can't wait to see how your football team develops. So we're gonna be watching. So, and we're going to look forward to hearing from you and your other coaching staff. And if some of your players want to call in, and, they can call in as well, because we are for HBCU student athletes as well as regular students as well.
Good deal.
Right, have a good night, Enrique.
All right, good night to you all as well. All right.
Oh, Kels.
Very great interview.
Yes, it was. I mean, he very well spoken football coach.
He is very well spoken.
He has truly embraced himself into the HBCU and also the Morehouse college culture. And I'm just glad to see that he's trying to raise the level of student athlete to play football at Morehouse.
From beginning to end, his interview from the salute to the wife, to talking about God being the head of his life, being a Christian, everything about his about his, his interview was very, it was just so concrete. And one of the things that you can see about him being that he's well spoken, but you can see that he's a humble person, and he's not one of those people that I'm going to hold my accolades or I went to Ole Miss above other things.
Right.
Like you said, he's fully transitioned into the HBCU. Like he knows the school that he went to and he did well, but he now embraces the HBCU culture, and that's the great thing about it. But yeah, that really great interview.
Right. So we have about 15 minutes left, and we have some more things to cover for y'all. But the next thing I want to talk about, in 2017, this TV show premiered, and it was about our institutions. A fictional GAMU University, the TV show The Quad. And we got some unwelcome news last week that the BET decided to cancel the show due to declining viewership. Kels, you're someone who watches the show, and I watch it myself because it's on my DVR. I have both seasons recorded. You were always tweeting about this show, even when they made references to the swag. Talk to us about how you feel about BET not renewing the Quad for a third season.
Well, the thing is that what a lot of people don't know is that, aside of it being a TV show, and it's something that I watch week to week, I actually had conversation on Instagram with all of the people. So talking to Peyton Smith, which, talking to the actual characters on Instagram, and I'm talking about week to week, talking to them, actually having conversation back and forth, it's crazy. Now, what a lot of people may not know, and this is really funny, Miles Stroller, which played Junior on the football team, the guy that was in trouble with his grades, he played football for Morehouse. Football for Morehouse. Yeah, I didn't find that out till he told me one day, and I was like, oh, really? But anyhow, being that they canceled this show, one of the things people say that they had a lot of storylines, and that's the truth. They had too many storylines, and it was they were trying to plug into every platform that was going on. But it was one of those things that we could actually relate to, and we actually look forward to,
right,
because it's something that we actually knew happens. Okay, well, we know the issues with mergers, and we know the issues with finances, and we know the issues with scandals and different things that's going on in our HBCUs. So it was something that we actually look forward to. And, even if you didn't like it, you still could relate to it. And so to see them say that it's being canceled because viewership was lower in this second season, I guess it's because it had so many different things going on. I really can see it being, lower. But being we see who owns BET, now I'm just like, okay, maybe so, whatever. But it's disheartening when you get TV shows that you actually like and that you actually watch, and that they're being canceled, because that's something that I actually watch. And so for them to say we're canceling it, it bothered me. Like it was just like a, Monday, it was like a punch in the gut for a Monday morning, because it's very disheartening to see something like that. You see a cast of that's all colored like you. You see students that's actually, out here to making it, and it's just a sad thing. And so, you have alums on that show that really went, you have Anika Noni Rose that spammed you. You had Tally Brinson, which was the drum major. He spammed you. So it's a lot of stuff in that actual show. And then the one lady, I can't think her name, went to Jackson State. So it was just a lot in there that's really pressing, because they touched on a lot. They gave some tributes to Grambling. You had Alcorn. You had Southern. It touched on the SWAC. It touched on a lot of stuff. So all of us were proud of those moments. And now it's like you anything that's highlighting us, it seems that you're snatching it away, no matter what it is. It had its negative moment, but it's still overshadowed and positive for me.
Right. And I agree with you. I mean, I've never really immersed myself in watching TV shows get snatched. But, some other shows have low ratings and they're still on the air. Being this was an HBCU-centric show, which is going to appeal to people of color, and HBCU graduates don't necessarily know how many non-supporters of HBCUs watch this show, but this show was our show. So we were going to watch it. Even if we didn't watch it when it was live, we recorded it and would watch it. I'm pretty sure if you could track the amount of people who recorded the show and watched it, the viewership probably would be through the roof, because of course with the advent of DVR, if you have something to do that night when the show is on, you're not going to be able to watch it. You got to realize the show probably was carried by, like you said, HBCU alums and students. So a lot of these students probably had to study or have to work. There could have been a number of issues of why the viewership dwindled. I think they should have came back with a season 3 and tried to, I guess you can say, maybe minimize some of the storylines. But when you take a look at the snapshot of the day in the life of an HBCU campus, they hit the nail. You're going to have all those things going on at some point throughout the day. And I think that's what differentiated the show to me, because they tried to include everything that could potentially happen throughout the day or a certain period of time in an HBCU show. The producer, Felicia Henderson, also the co-creator. Who knows? Maybe someone will pick this show up. It's a good product. It wasn't perfect, but you can improve upon something. It has a following because you have a plethora of HBCUs across the country and graduates, and also the children of graduates who potentially continue to watch this show can only get better. I think BET jumped the gun and canceling this show too soon. You gave it 2 seasons. Sometimes you got to give it the 3rd strike to see if you really strike out. I believe in a rule of 3 when it comes to, 3 strikes and you're out. So I think BET jumped the gun here.
I agree. I think they it was a little premature. I've never seen something cut so soon, and I say the same thing. At least 3 shows, yeah. But I think that was very premature because we liked the first season. We were looking forward to the second season, so I think it was very premature. And I think in burning down the building, for people that didn't see, they end up burning down the building because you're going through this whole merger process in the last show. I think they knew what it was coming to. I think they knew that they weren't going to renew. It was just news to us, the rest of us. But I did it again. It is very unfortunate, but it is what it is.
We do have my line brother on, Patrick Perry, out of the Delta. PP, what do you think about BET canceling the quad?
That's not surprising. I mean, the moment that, Bob sold it to Viacom, that's when BET basically became the black version of MTV. And like you said, we don't get the rope that other shows get. Like that show, The Get Down, people were high on that show. It got the 1 season. I mean, everybody was talking about it. Yet it didn't get renewed for a 2nd season. It's a couple more shows I can't think of. Yeah, we don't get that same rope. I mean, I'm hoping that, like you said, with Bama State Style I can't remember what network picked them up, but you just hope that somebody like a TV One or even somebody like a Lifetime can pick up a show like that and give them a 3rd season or whatever.
Yeah, there's a guy, a black guy, I can't remember his name right now. I'm looking it up right now. Byron Allen, who just bought the Weather Channel. Maybe once he gets his television or empire together, perhaps maybe he will start to, give shows like this an area where they can continue to be broadcast. Because he has bought up several TV stations, just bought the Weather Channel. Perhaps he can create an arena where shows like this can persist and continue to entertain us, because this is something that shows, hey, we are all HBCU graduates. We could relate to what was going on in that show, and now it's gone. And for right now. So maybe BET will change their mind, maybe they did this to see if how much outcry they would get from canceling this show like this. But I hope that someone picks it up. I think it's sad for it to go away like this because I enjoyed the show. I thought it was amazing. I thought it had a bright future to showcase the lives of HBCU students and also HBCU athletes and also HBCU administrators and employees on what they go through in their day, like a dramatized version. But we got about 5 minutes left, and we had some coaching news in the SWAC kills involving both of our schools. Our former coach has now been hired to be the head coach at Southern, and that is none other than Sean Woods, who won a SWAC tournament title at Valley. I think they went 17-1, had the title belt. You know what I'm saying? Now, after being the head coach at Morehouse State and leaving there, he was an assistant coach at a school, and now he is back in the SWAC at Southern University. Some people were happy about this hire, some people were not. He is a winning coach. Comes with a little baggage, but he is a winning coach. Kels, what do you think about this hire?
I'm one of those people. I'm all about giving people chances. That's it. I didn't know anything about it, so of course until I dug deeper and seeing some off the court issues. Mm-hmm. I say this about everybody's school. I was talking to somebody else about another hire at another school that I just won't make mention of. You can't make everybody happy. You just can't. Everybody has their guy that they want to pick or their female that they want to pick. You just can't make everybody happy. And the upside is that you have a winning record, but the downside is that you have off the court, you're a PR nightmare. So either way, it's how it's like a catch-22. What do you go with?
Right.
And it's like, if people see the PR part more than they see the winning part, then that's what you ain't got no choice but to win. Because if you lose, then guess what they're gonna bring up? You being a PR nightmare. They're gonna bring up that part and not the playing part. So I guess I just have to wait to see what happens. But I did. After looking into the battery of the two players and the resignation and things, it's one of those things that I say you got to come out here and do some work, because a lot of people we know, when you talk about universities like Southern, like Grambling, like Jackson State, we're not receptive to stuff like that. You got to really break us down in awareness, because you have rich tradition in those schools. Exactly. And you have people that can they won't like you based off of what they heard about other people. So that's just one of those things. It's same thing with the whole groundbreaking of the Tony Clayton Plaza. People talk about things that happened in the past, but it is what it is. We know when it comes down to it, it's all about one thing, and it's the green dollar.
That's true. He was an assistant coach at Stetson last year, and the thing is, I hated that he left Valley when he left Valley, because he had turned our program around. The man can coach. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. I think he may have learned from his mistakes at Morehead State. And I think he's going to do better with this second chance to being back in the SWAC. When you have someone like Coach Banks, basketball is his baby. That's his baby. He's not going to hire someone that he thinks is not going to treat his baby right. So you have to trust in your administration that he believes that that baggage that Coach Woods has put behind him. Because I don't think, like I said, this is A.D. Banks' baby, the men's basketball program at Southern University. So he's not just going to make a hire and not do his homework or dot every I, cross every T to ensure that the issues they have at Morehead State are no longer going to be an issue. So I'm going to, think it's a good hire. You hired yourself a coach with a winning tradition in our league. Like I said, I didn't want him to leave Valley because he had turned us from a doormat to a winner again. And I think he's going to take Southern University and get you all back into the contention for a SWAC championship. You all were right there this year with a lot of good players. So this coach, I think, is going to get y'all over the hump, to get you back in contention for a SWAC title. We got some more housekeeping before we get out of here. I want to congratulate the Alabama State men's and women's tennis teams for their earning SWAC titles in tennis. We also have some more tennis tourneys coming up. The SEAC tennis tourney is underway. It will complete soon. Also, it's actually going to start April 16th to the 17th at the Peachtree Center in Peachtree City, Georgia. The CIAA tennis tournament will start in Bowie State on the 19th and 21st of April. And also the MEAC is racing ahead to their tennis tournament. I don't have the dates for it yet. But, spring sports coming down to the wire. We are in April, and of course we know when May comes, we're going to have graduation and the end of sports in the summer. That will be the end of the first season of Black College Experience, Kels, on Spreaker.
I know.
So, we want to congratulate all the athletes on earning their championships today. The men and the women. We'll be back next week with another episode of Black College Experience. Kels, you have any closing out comments?
Before we get out of here, just to let everybody know, there is a HBCU baseball classic that is going on in Greenville, North Carolina this weekend. That is going to be Morehouse, Claflin University, Clark, Atlanta, and Bethune-Cookman College. Also, the golf tournament or championship is coming up this weekend. That's going on in the SIAC. So that's what's rumbling on this side. And before I get off this, I would be remiss if I didn't. I talk about everybody else. I give props to everybody else, but I got to stop and give props to my nephew. This child went from I don't know what I want to do with as far as college to being inducted into the National Honor Society on Thursday. My nephew is a 3.7 and up GPA at Tennessee State. So am I a proud auntie? I am daggone proud. I am very proud of my nephew, so I have to give props to my nephew, nothing else.
Well, since you give him props on academic ethics, I have two young ladies I want to give props to. The first young lady, when I was at Valley, my work study was at the daycare. And I guess you could say watching those kids prepared me to become the father I am today. One of the young ladies friended me on Facebook, and I was like, I haven't seen you in a while. She was like, well, I need your address because I'm graduating. And she's graduating from Jackson State University. Another person I want to give congrats to, a person my sorority sister, graduating from Grambling State University, Portia Terrell. Portia has overcome so much in her life, and a lot of people don't know some things that she's overcome. But she started out at the program where you weren't really a student at Grambling. She posted about it, and she graduates in 4 years, participated in the band, pledged Zeta, and now she's going to be walking across that stage. And I just want to congratulate you, Portia, my Sarah. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
So make sure you tune in next week at Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for more Black College Experience. We are out of here.
Good night.
Shutters.